The following is brought to you by the Social Suplex Podcast Network.
This is All Things Elite. Welcome back to All Things Elite. Load up the pod, man, it's on when we speak. Rich right here, let me warm it up for Austin and Floyd. Couldn't be no one but the boys. When it come to All Things Elite from the fan perspective, swear, man, it ain't no question. Hear from them first. Swear, man, they putting in the work. No, they had to get me for the verse. Social Suplex Network's on. I was at a time in your headphones. Austin and Floyd on the microphone. Backing out on the ring, getting in the zone. Pulling up the show, give it 7 stars, you already know. Who else could it be but the show with the proclivity for positivity? I'm gone.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the 219th episode of Social Suplex's podcast about AEW with a proclivity for positivity. Welcome to All Things Elite. My name is Austin Sumwitz. I am the host of this lovely show. Joining with me, as always, is my good buddy and friend, Mr. Floyd Johnson Jr. My man, how are you doing?
Dude, this has been the weirdest, most up and down week ever. So, Christmas sucked because the Chiefs lost.
Yeah.
It is what it is, but, you know, it is what it is. The Chiefs lost. Then, it's like, so my friends that I talk to often. I kind of call them my wrestling kids because they're so much younger than me. But you know, they were friends, had a falling out, and they spent Christmas together. I thought that was like really cool, and that was awesome. And not to name names because, you know, it's their business. And then the ESPN announced their wrestlers of the year. We're going to talk about it later, but it's just like, I mean, everyone knows my 3 favorite wrestlers. I almost say it's like it's 2, but my 3 favorite wrestlers in the world are Cody Rhodes and FTR. I mean, it goes that if you listen to this show once, you probably know that. So when they announced the winners, your singles wrestler of the year, Cody Rhodes, your tag team of the year, FTR, I was like, yeah. Got a little excited. And I posted about FTR and didn't post about Cody because I always say Tiffany handles the Cody stuff. I just retweet her. Like, I don't even need to make my own post about Cody. Tiffany has it. She literally says everything that can be said. So I just like it, retweet it, going about my business. But FTR, ESPN, PWI, same year. They are that tag team and they can't get booked on the pay-per-view. Love that. Love tag team wrestling. Hey, Austin, trivia question. How many 2-on-2 tag matches are on the World's End pay-per-view?
Ooh, you know what? Let me pull up the match card real quick because I was going to say there wasn't a lot. There was not a lot. Let me see if we got more stuff posted on there. 2-on-2? Oh, yeah, none.
None. No 2-on-2 tag matches.
None.
With this company, with
I
the
looked
tag
high and low. I looked high and low. I didn't see a single one.
With this company, with the tag team division and a tag team champion, does not have a tag team match. The only thing I can say, the reason I can say it's somewhat acceptable, there is another title called the International title, and it's not on the show either. So I guess I'm not as annoyed.
And then you also got to consider too, there was a tag match booked, but then unfortunately Kenny Omega out with injury, which diverticulitis. You know,
yeah, and I have thoughts on that too, because it's just like there seemed like there was a much more logical match they could have done other than the match.
And then you could have avoided the whole problem.
Yes, it's like, there's a much more logical match. It seemed like it was set up that way, and then they was like, oh, let's grab these 2 other guys that literally have nothing to do with this and throw them in there. So whatever, I don't know.
Makes all the sense in the world.
Yeah, because it's like, okay, so they got 4 versus 4. Why isn't it a fatal 4-way for the tag belts?
I don't know.
Yeah,
no.
No, you got 4 teams, 4 sets of teams. It seems pretty easy.
Yeah,
and not a lot. It's like, don't even think hard. You have 4 sets of teams, make them all fight for the tag belts. Boom, done. But whatever. I'll bitch about that later. Besides, I've had a really good week. got to talk to family. Everybody's doing good. Honestly, in the big scheme of things, not much more that you could ask for, especially around the holiday season. Unfortunately, this time of year, a lot of people pass away and that kind of stuff. So the fact that everybody's still alive and kicking in the Johnson family, I am good with that.
Yeah. I am enjoying, I enjoyed my holiday. I also enjoyed, I know Floyd talked about how, of course, his Kansas City Chiefs didn't win, but my Detroit Lions won, which meant for the first time in 30 years, the Lions won their division championship. They had never won the NFC North. The last time they won a division title was when it was called the NFC Central. They won the NFC North. We get a banner raised up in Ford Field. It's an amazing feeling. Genuinely was just stunned that it even happened. Work is not even close to being done yet, though. This team's going to win a playoff game at home. That Ford Field crowd is going to be electric. I'm kind of hoping, it probably won't happen, but I'm hoping that we get the 1 seed so we get the bye week, because I am going to be on vacation during that playoff game if they don't get the bye week. So I'd like to be in town for that, if you know what I mean.
Congratulations to your Detroit Lions. I sincerely mean that, even though they did beat my Chiefs, which hurt my soul. But the reason I say congratulations, because a lot of teams do it. They go out, they spend a lot of money, like other teams, and try to fix it. Y'all fixed it through the draft. Y'all, your wide receivers are Detroit Lions draft picks. Your quarterback was also ran that basically nobody wanted, and you took him and you got it. And you got Panay Sewell and what's the defensive lineman Hutchinson, who's played in Michigan. You got all these players, that Detroit drafted. They built through the draft. They got a little better every year, the gradual build. And what I found from my years of watching football, when you do the gradual build, and you build in from the house, you build through the draft, you stay better longer.
And build through the trenches, too, because I will say, too, we have one of the best offensive lines in football when fully healthy. Panay Sewell, Taylor Decker, Graham Glasnow, Jonah Jackson, Frank Ragnow. You got multiple Pro Bowlers in there right there, including the best right tackle and the best center in football, in my opinion. Panay Sewell is a fucking monster at right tackle. But I'm getting too much in the weeds. I didn't know too much in the weeds with that.
I honestly didn't even know he was a right tackle. I thought he was a left because, he's Panay Sewell and, he was big time out of college. So I thought he was a left tackle. So that's pretty cool. You do not have the best center in the NFL. Pro Football Focus, best center in the NFL, Creed Humphrey.
Are you sure about that?
Yeah. Well, last year he was. I don't know about this.
Last year, no, because currently I believe right now, currently Pro Football Focus, if you go to the player grades right now, Panay Sewell, then Connor Williams. Frank Ragnow, then Connor Williams. Sorry.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, Frank Ragnow currently has the best ranking right now in Pro Football Focus.
Yeah.
Creed Humphrey is in the top 10 still, I believe. Right behind Jason Kelce.
He was at 1 last year, so it's just like,
Yeah, but I don't care about last year.
Of course you don't care about last year because your team's winning this year, but as the reigning, defending, undisputed Super Bowl champions, I do think, I don't mind talking about the year before,
I understand that completely.
So we allowed the Raiders to win against us. They're once every 3 years. And it's so funny. I love it hilariously. And we're going to get off of this really quick. Sure. But the Chiefs dominate the Raiders. They win all the time, right? Like, since me and my friend Jason met in 1993, I think the Chiefs have won 65% of the games in that series. So it's just like, good Lord, when they beat us every 3 years, man, it's like they won the Super Bowl. They do the laugh around the building. Like, woo, we beat the Chiefs. I'm just like, dude, we beat y'all 8 times in a row before that. I mean,
right.
We've already beat you this year. Chill the fuck out. I was like, all you did was get the split for the year. You didn't dominate us. You got the split for the year. Good job. Way to go. Way to go.
That means so much to you.
That means so much to you. I mean, see, this, as I told my friend Jason, I was like, there's levels to this shit. Y'all celebrate beating us. We celebrate Super Bowls. That's just levels.
That is very much levels to it, yeah. But yeah, no. So not a great week for you. Great week for me with that. But then also too, I'm going to talk about this too. Just because we only have Dynamite and our preview for World's End for this week, I do need to talk about this though, because I did see the Iron Claw. I did kind of want to talk about that though.
How hard did you cry?
Dude, like harder than I have at a movie like in years. Like there's one scene in particular, which surprisingly like wasn't even like a death scene. You know what I mean? It wasn't like one of the Von Erichs passing away. That like it got close. There was one scene close to the end of the movie that fucking destroyed me. I won't spoil it at all, but if you saw the movie though, and if you're specifically an older brother, I think you'll feel it heavily because that's exactly where it got me. I was just like, holy shit. It was spectacularly done. Genuinely, I mean, and they played their cards right too, like having this come out in December because I think they're priming up Zac Efron for Oscar season, and he does an amazing job as Kevin Von Erich. And all the other actors as well do a spectacular job. Shout out as well, Chavo Guerrero. He was the main trainer for the pro wrestling training for all the actors. I actually watched his Chris Van Vliet interview where he talked about how they actually did full like 10-minute plus matches that they would do multiple takes of, and that's how they shot it. And they would just take the best parts of everything. And Zac Efron told them like, this is the hardest shit I've ever had to do. Basically, like he was getting blown up, which is crazy because he's so barrel chested like a Von Erich in that movie. Dude looks unrecognizable. But the movie is spectacular, heartbreaking, tragic. I believe it has an 86% on Rotten Tomatoes if you care heavily about that. But you want to mention that. It's incredible. I think it's one of the best pro wrestling movies I've seen since The Wrestler. Like, The Wrestler was favorites when it came to movies about pro wrestling. The Wrestler, like, was another movie that just, like, tore me to pieces. Because, I mean, like, you see it all the time. You know what I mean? You see it all the time. Or especially in, like, years gone by, too. Like, Floyd probably grew up seeing a whole bunch of instances of characters, like, from The Wrestler. But this one especially too, just they obviously, you know, it's not fully accurate. They left some stuff out. It wasn't like anything was like incorrect or anything like that. Maybe some stuff was made.
They literally left out a whole brother.
They left out a whole brother is the one thing. Yeah, they left out a whole brother and very glanced over the other brother, like the young, like the oldest, but the one that died the youngest.
Okay, so the reason they glanced over it is because the director said it was already too sad. It just felt like it was going to make it even more sad.
No, I know, exactly. It's like they and then the instance with it was Chris, right?
Yes.
Yeah, it was like, I mean, it was a suicide death for that one. And I guess it was just too similar, you know, to Michael. I guess it was too similar to Michael. Oh, no, not Michael, sorry. Carrie. I think it was too similar to Carrie's death that they just decided, you know what, we'll just go with
one.
Leave that out, because if we do every single one, A, people will think we're bullshitting, and B, it's going to be too much. Even though it's not bullshit, it all happened.
See, I don't understand, like, when I told people I don't want to see the movie because I lived it, I don't understand why people didn't understand why I didn't want to see the movie.
Dude, and, like, here's the thing, too. My parents actually were okay. Like, they went to go see it with us. Uh-huh. And my mom literally goes, thanks for, like, making Christmas incredibly depressing, Austin. And I'm like, I told you guys this was going to kill you. I told you guys. It's like, and I said, Floyd literally said, I don't want to relive childhood trauma. I don't want to go see this and just go through everything that I lived through.
Yeah. I mean, like, all of these were, like, the Von Erichs were important figures in their childhood. As in, like, I got into real sports, like, it existed, but it was probably, like, 11 or 12 before I really started focusing on the NFL and college and all that stuff. From birth to about 93, my life was professional wrestling. As in, my superheroes were professional wrestling. My comic books were like Pro Wrestling Illustrated. that was, like, we had the cardboard belts. We did wrestling outside. We did all the shit you weren't supposed to do. We did it all, right? And it was just like, so the Von Erichs were like gods to me, right? And to go through what I get, I'm kind of getting choked up right now. To go through what they went through, it was like, I loved Kerry Von Erich. Loved the modern day warrior Kerry Von Erich. And yeah, when that happened, with seemingly, because I'm 11 when he goes down.
Right.
I don't know any backstage shit, right? So just seemingly out of nowhere, my favorite wrestler killed himself. That's how it was in my head.
And you're like, yeah, it doesn't seem real or anything.
Yeah, and it's just like, you're like, if you're a wrestling fan, especially in the 80s and 90s, you dealt with a lot of fucking, a lot of death. And it sucked.
Yeah, no, absolutely. That being said, though, like I said, movie was spectacular. It will absolutely destroy you. I will tell you. But I recommend everyone go see it. I also, can I just say, they don't really mention him by name, but having MJF be Lance Von Erich was so, like, oh my God. Like, so good.
The fake Von Erich, yes.
Yes, the fake Von Erich. Like,
Dude,
he's shucking and jiving and everything like that, and I'm just like,
it feels like MJF from the scene I've seen. I've only seen one scene from the movie. I don't even watch the previews. So I've only seen the one scene that people have been going crazy on. That's the guy playing Ric Flair. And I was just like, MJF would have killed Ric Flair.
No,
like,
and again, I will comment on that real quick too. Yeah, no, I can see the points in, like, because there's another scene with Ric Flair when he's backstage. That felt more like Flair because it was a lot more like Flair reserved and like his like slight tendencies talking. That seemed a little bit more like Flair. On camera promo Flair, completely missed it. There might have been one or two moments where I could hear Flair like in pieces, but they could have literally like had him like be dubbed by Jay Lethal and it would have worked so much better. Like, seriously, have him lip sync to Jay Lethal doing Flair impersonations and it would work tremendously better than this guy. No disrespect whatsoever, but it's Flair's just too hard to impersonate.
Flair is the fucking easiest impersonation I've ever heard. I just see people do it all the time.
They do, yeah.
Limousine riding, jet flying, wheeling, dealing, son of a gun. It just seems like everyone knows, how to impersonate Ric Flair. It's like your first wrestler thing. So it's just like, it's just crazy to me that like that one person you wouldn't just get a wrestler to go ahead and just do it because they're gonna always do it justice because it's fucking Ric Flair. And it was just like, I don't know how the director or writer or whoever's like watching the scene is like, man, you just did a really good Ric Flair impersonation. I'm just like, the director, the writer, director, that's the quality control, right? Like, hey, fix it. Maybe he just didn't have the ability to fix it.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of crazy. But then, like I said, I've only seen that clip.
It's really the only nitpick I could say is that I wish there was somebody who could play Flair better. You know what I mean?
Yes.
But I mean, like, that's a nitpick at the end of the day. I will say though, because they do have somebody playing Michael Hayes. You don't hear him talk, but I mean, like, the lookalike is spot on, I will say.
Bad Street USA.
Yup. So.
All right.
Well, that's going to do it for that. Let's actually get into, we are in the go-home week for World's End, and we're headed into 2024 for AEW. And we got to talk about New Year's Smash. And as we know, we get the finals for the Gold League and the Blue League to determine what is our Continental Classic finals that's going to be taking place at World's End. But before we get into everything, I want to make sure you guys are downloading this fine show on Google or Apple Podcasts. If you listen to us on Spotify or wherever you choose to listen to us, give us a share with your friends, family, coworkers, whoever you wish, and be sure to subscribe so you never miss an episode and leave a rating and a review. If you're so inclined, you can also follow us on social media. We are at ATElitePod on Twitter, at Social Suplex are the guys that make this show possible. Please check out all the other shows they have on their network. I am at Austin Summel. It's SZUMOWICZ. And Floyd is at Floyd Johnson Jr. on Twitter. Of course, big news of the week being World's End. But also, I will say, we had some pretty big news in terms of people who are leaving AEW. I wanted to kind of slap that in as well. So first of all, on the lighter side of things, Mrs. Massey, Dana Massey, Matt Jackson's wife, is no longer going to be the head of merchandise or whatever?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. So she is stepping down, and she is no longer in a working position in AEW. So she that came out earlier this week. Yeah, I mean, it seemed like, quite frankly, I totally even forgot that was her role, but it just seemed, I assumed honestly that she was just still,
I mean,
they got him and Matt, her and Matt have multiple kids, and they're wild, so I understand why, get more time with them.
I met her in 2000. First time I met her was in 2018, working the merch stand at All In.
Yeah, no, the first time I met her was we were actually getting ready to go up to do the belt picture with Cody and the Bucks, and Mrs. Matt, a little selfie with her, so it was cool running into her there too.
Yeah, and she, it's just, I've met her, like she's always been at events, and it's one of those things. I see her, she, a lot of times she hands me the badge that I'm using to go meet someone or whatever it is, and it's just like she's just there. She's just always there. So it's going to be weird when she's not there, especially when they do the what are the things called before the pay-per-views? The
buy-ins?
No, not the buy-in, or like the meet and greet things.
Oh, yeah.
What the fuck are they called?
FanFest.
FanFest, yes. She was always there. She would have to listen to all the people in line crying and stuff, and she always handled it very well. And, yeah, I'll miss her. I will definitely miss seeing her there. Like I said, it wasn't somebody I talked to. We're like friends, but it's just like it's a familiar face you see at everything. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. And, yeah, we love those familiar faces. Another one that just actually came out, I believe it was today actually, was Shawn Spears is stepping down and no longer a member of the AEW roster going forward. I'll actually read his tweet that he put out regarding his tweet. He said, "What a wonderful time it's been. Thank you, AEW, for allowing me to be there from the ground level. It's been a fantastic 5 years of growth and personal development. This is a personal choice and one that is best for me and my family at this time. Thank you to all the staff, talent alike, for the memories. Number 10. Most importantly, thank you to the incredible fans of all of professional wrestling. I love you guys. I really do."
Yeah. If people don't know, I love Shawn Spears on a ridiculous level. I just think the man's amazing. I think he has the look. I think he moves well in the ring. I think he's a victim of early booking. It's just he was on TV a lot in the WWE losing. And sometimes people can get past that. Sometimes people can't. And I don't think with him that they ever could get past that. He was always a second. He was never a star. And it was just like, if you look at him, you look at his individual attributes and everything he's good at and how he works in the ring, dude, I don't know if he should have been a main eventer. I don't know if he should have been the world champion, but he definitely should have been pretty much booked higher than he was. But everyone, it's one of those things. It's like, he's one of those wrestlers. You talk to people that trained with him. You talk to people that wrestled with him. You talk to people that just worked with him. They fucking love that dude. And, every experience I had was always a positive one. Always professional. It was like the dude's like rocking the suits at the meet and greets when nobody else was. Yeah, it's like one of my favorite figures is his Chase figure that I have on my wall right now. So, yeah, and he was a part of the Pinnacle. And I know they don't have the fondest memories of the Pinnacle. I know. I've accepted that something I love, the wrestlers that were a part of it did not love it. So I've had to accept that. But You know, he was in the Pinnacle. And so, you know, when you're the Pinnacle for life. I hope they still use him on ROH if he doesn't sign like with WWE or Impact, which, you know, I think is likely because he's a really good wrestler. He has a training school, flatbacks, you know, so, you know, there's a lot that he can do. He's expecting, him and Peyton or Cassie are expecting another baby. He has a lot going on in life, so I wish him the best and wish him best. Like, dude, I don't really watch Impact. I always say this. It's nothing against Impact. They are a perfectly good wrestling show. I don't watch them because I just don't have time in a week. There's too much wrestling, right? AEW pretty much takes most of my week, and WWE's the other part of it. But if Spears signs with Impact, they will get me back to watching Impact.
All right. Yeah, no, and Sean Spears consistently was a guy that I always wanted to see more and just see him in segments because, like, I mean, you see him, like, and you know he's just a guy that people can learn from, and, like, whether that be just in the ring during a feud or something like that, or, you know, him and Tyler Breeze with their flatback school, that dude just seems like, and I met him, I believe, once, and he was super cool. And he still has one of my favorite AEW moments of all time, which was when he absolutely crushed Cody's head in with a steel chair. I know it was technically a botch and it wasn't supposed to be like that, but regardless, the moment was spectacular. And like, it's still seared in my mind, especially in early AEW. Like, that was such a crucial memory for that time period in AEW.
It was even more awesome for me, because of what led to it. This was pretty much, you know, when Tiffany, me and our friendship started, like, getting really tight. She got we got the first row tickets to All Out, the first All Out, and it was Sean Spears versus Cody. Sean Spears had Tully Blanchard as his manager. They built this match after that chair shot, and at this moment, Tully Blanchard's getting involved. Arn Anderson comes down towards the ring, and at this point, with me in the first row, Arn Anderson hits a spine buster on Sean Spears, and if you know how I feel about Arn Anderson from listening to the show, it's like my favorite wrestler of all time. I honestly never thought I'd see a spine buster live because literally by the time I got to go to shows, he was done as a full-time wrestler. So I got to see a spine buster live from the best seat I've ever had at a show on a pay-per-view. Like, you can literally, if you go back and watch the video, you can see me with my mouth open reacting to Arn Anderson hitting that spine buster, and it's like, it's burned in my soul. Like, as my favorite moment in AEW history. So Sean Spears will always be a part of that.
Yeah, no, that moment was awesome. That was the first show I think we were ever hard cam for. And Cody was like able to run right behind us when he was beating the shit out of Sean in the crowd. That match was a ton of fun, even though I wanted Sean to win personally to keep the feud going, but I digress. But yeah, no. So
no. I agree. Like, as a Cody fan that loves Cody, I wanted him to win because I needed people to see him as something other than a WWE job guy. You know what I mean?
Or just a chant.
Yeah. And it was just like, on a big stage, on a pay-per-view, you're establishing Sean Spears as, you know, a dude if he beats Cody. And he didn't, and what happened, but he's had memorable moments. The chairman's very hilarious moments as the chairman, like getting mad at other people for trying to use chairs because he's like, that's my thing. And when Wardlow would beat somebody, then he would go in and beat the shit out of him with the chair.
Just the moment when he was in Stadium Stampede and like the lights go out and he's surrounded by chairs and he's just like got this whistle as he's like just clanking a chair as he's about to beat the shit out of. I think it was like Hangman. I think maybe he was going to beat up or whatever. But regardless of the fact, though, when he was surrounded by all those chairs, oh my God, it was such a beautiful image.
Yeah, and that was awesome. Yeah, that was another great Sean Spears moment. That whole, because I believe in the end, because that was against the What was that group called? What was Jericho's group called?
I think it was the Inner Circle.
The Inner Circle, and Sammy hit the finisher on him to win the match, I remember.
Yes.
And, Shawn Spears. So, like, a lot of favorite moments, a lot of AEW's first 5 years, you can't really do without Shawn Spears.
Oh, yeah. And like I said, one of those ground floor guys that we heavily appreciate. So, yeah, best of luck to Shawn and whatever he does next. But, yeah, we'll move from that, though, and get into Dynamite New Year's Smash, which opened with the Gold League final, Jon Moxley versus Swerve Strickland versus Jay White. Man, I did not think this was opening the show.
I thought this was going to be the main event of the show, honestly.
I thought too.
I thought it was more of a chance for Bryan Danielson and Eddie Kingston to start the show than this match.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And Jon Moxley was still battling through his knee injury in this match. Each guy was trying to go after it too, like basically. But Moxley, of course, is, not human or just psychotic. So he fought through so much pain. There was a moment where Jay White, there were so many good moments in this match. Honestly, they started off incredibly well. They got a steel chair involved as well, and Moxley was getting smacked with it by Jay, who also hit Swerve with it. Like, there was a good period of time where it looked like Swerve had the match. He had the JML driver on Moxley, but then, of course, as he was about to get it, Mox bites his fingers. He gets off of that, but then tries for the Swerve stomp. Jay White then knocks him down, but then the Jay White gets caught with the Death Rider, and Jay White is pinned by Jon Moxley. Jon Moxley wins the Gold League and gets the pin on Jay White. Gotta say, like I said, I knew it wasn't going to be Swerve. I wanted it to be just because he's so hot right now. But I am glad that, they knew that Swerve couldn't take a pin right now. They are protecting him with that in that regard. So I get that heavily. But man, as much as I think Moxley's awesome, dude, like, it was hard to feel like it wasn't underwhelming with him winning it. And it's not like it's just because, he's always been there, and he's reliable. He's always been reliable. He's always been when called upon, he gives you bangers. It's all that. But Jay White or Swerve winning is way more interesting, and it's just because, we haven't seen them in these types of positions like that before. Whereas Moxley, you can count on him for everything. So I get it. It was really good. I'm happy for Mox. I think he's a good pick. He's just not the most interesting pick to me.
As a veteran watcher of the G1 and a frequent listener of Keeping It Strong Style on the Social Suplex Network, like sometimes on these G1s, sometimes in the C2, which is AEW's version of G1, don't let anybody tell you any different. The story plays itself out. Like, you could see what the story is going to be. And when we got to about the third or fourth match, I was like, oh, I know who is going to be in the main event. I've pretty much been saying it the last few weeks. And it was just like, because you saw the story. And Mox was the perfect for the story. Now, if you want to talk about getting someone over, of course Swerve's the guy. I would have loved if Swerve became the first Triple Crown champion. Of course that. But when they're looking at what they have planned for Swerve, that wasn't a stop they had planned. I think Swerve's next belt will be the AEW World Championship. I mean, could he be the TNT champion? Absolutely. Could he be the international champion? No, but he has been built so much. He has set his eyes on it. He says he wants to be the first black AEW World Champion. I think that will be the first singles title he holds in AEW.
Which, yeah, I mean, like, at the end of the day, that does mean more. You know what I mean? But it's just tough for it to not feel, even if Jay White would have won it, like I said, it would be interesting. But again, considering what they set up the finals for, you understand why it would be Moxley winning it. So, and we'll get to that when we get to
the only person that beats Swerve or has pinned Swerve since pretty much this thing has started with him getting hot is the ace of the company, which is Mox. And they say it, they told you it, so it's not like I'm like, oh, I'm declaring him the ace. No, they've told you he is the ace.
They've said straight up, guys, like, this is our ace.
This is the ace of the company, the ace, and then it's Moxley. So it's just like, when people are like, oh, Moxley wins again. Yeah, he's going to win a lot. He is going to win significantly more than he loses, because when he loses, like when he lost to Orange Cassidy, it means something. It elevates the person that beats him because he doesn't lose a lot. That is how you do it with someone like Mox. That's how you. It's
just how it's going to be. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, if your guy is on a regular Dynamite against Mox, pretty much expect your guy to lose, because that's just how it's going to be. So, like, if you look at the people that have pinned Jon Moxley, it's been like Kenny Omega. I don't know if Hangman ever pinned him. He beat him in a Texas Death match. And I don't think he actually. I don't think he actually pinned him. But like, it's Orange Cassidy. Like, the names are top guys in the company. Jon Moxley doesn't just lose. So when you say that, it's just, when you think about it like that, you could almost tell Jon Moxley was going to win. And when we talk about the other match, I will tell you my logic on it.
Yeah, so we'll get to that when we get to that. But moving on from that, though, we then were backstage with Swerve Strickland following his loss. And he said, I wanted this so bad, basically. The Continental Classic, it's bringing life into this business. And I proved that I'm one of the best in the industry, if not the best, and I didn't get pinned. Jay got pinned. Somebody looking for me on Collision is Keith Lee. You got me, because I got nothing going on this Saturday, and I'll be there for World's End. And then they asked him basically, told him basically, you have a contract to wrestle Keith Lee on Saturday, and Swerve just goes, we'll see if Keith Lee shows up this Saturday. So they're probably going to they're now basically set up to do a contract signing for this match, which is very exciting for that, because these guys can finally lay some barbs into each other.
Are they? I mean, this Saturday is the pay-per-view, so they won't be doing a contract signing, right?
Oh yeah, sorry, I forgot because I in my head I was like, oh yeah, Saturday, that's Collision. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No.
Sorry, it throws me off that they still do the pay-per-views on Saturday, but Collision's normally on Saturday, so like that's where I've always had it in my head. So.
Yeah, they got to do the. They got to do the show.
So the show itself. Sorry, that's on me. Like I said, Saturday night's all right for fighting. You know what I mean? So
yeah, I mean, it makes perfect sense. You know, I'm like, it makes. I
still got to get used to it, dude. I've been born and bred on Sunday pay-per-views. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I still got to get used to them being on Saturdays.
AEW does their own thing, and yeah, so I'm looking forward. Yeah, I'm looking forward to the match. It's been over a year in the making. You know, he smashed a brick on him, and it's just like, there is a story there, so no one can say this is randomly thrown together now. You can say, man, they took too long to do it, but, I mean, to me, I don't think you can take too long to put on a good match. A match that I want to see. I'm like, I want to see this match. If they did it the day after Keith Lee got hit in a brick, to me, that would have been too soon. Now there is tension build up, and you got two very talented athletes that really know how to do this, and they're going to kill it. And we're going to talk about it later, but this is kind of my pick to steal the show.
Oh yeah, no, mine as well. I think these guys could absolutely tear the freaking house down. So, but either way, moving from this though, Mariah May was interviewed on the ramp and basically said, y'all are waiting patiently for my debut. 2023 didn't have the best energy. There's not enough glamour. So it's going to be next week on the first Dynamite of the new year, because 2024 is all about Mariah. But then, she did the interview on the ramp. Riho then is chasing Mariah May down into the ring, and then Toni Storm comes in, and timeless Toni Storm sprints to try to help. She gets tripped up by Riho. Then Riho hits a crossbody on Toni Storm and Luther the Butler. Riho trying to get a little bit of heat going her way just to get some momentum heading into her match against Toni Storm for the AEW Women's World Championship. Against the Women's World Champion, basically, against Riho. So
Tony Khan on the press scrum today. I was reading the notes as I go to. We do not get invited to those.
We do not know.
We don't ask either.
I could get myself like possibly just see if we could get our.
I was gonna say we've never even asked.
I don't have time.
Yes, I was like we've never even made the attempt to be on there. So that being said, on to the actual point I was going to make, that how he loves Rio, loves working when fat crowd gets behind it. The ratings show that she's a draw, and I was like, dude, that's kind of awesome. You'd like to hear that, because the women's division does take a lot of shit. So to see someone being in the women's division being a legitimate draw, that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, no kidding. Moving on from that, though, we had Top Flight and Action Andretti calling out basically the trios, like saying there's tons of trios that they can fight after they had their match with the Acclaimed last week. So Dante Martin then was talking, basically saying there's a lot of trios that we could fight. And then Orange Cassidy, Rocky Romero, and Trent come out, and Orange Cassidy basically goes like, all right, fine, we'll see you guys on Friday. And Rocky was like, yeah, he kind of did the same thing to me last week. And so they will be having a trios match on Rampage this Friday. So Darius and Dante Martin, Top Flight, and Action Andretti versus Best Friends, Orange Cassidy, Rocky Romero, and Trent. So
you better watch yourself when issuing an open challenge, because if Orange Cassidy's going to hear it, he's going to accept it. So
he's going to assume it's about him, and he's going to accept it because, like, even though he doesn't try, he thinks everyone's out to get him.
I am ready. I can say this. I am ready for Orange Cassidy and the international title to be in a feud.
Yes.
And I know Continental Classic, I completely understand why it hasn't been featured recently. I do. The Continental Classic needed to be the focus of the company. It literally pretty much got the company back on the right foot as of what it is. But yeah, now that we're going into next week, yeah, we need Orange Cassidy, that momentum he had built up as the champion, to, get in a feud with somebody. Let's get in some fights.
Yeah, let's get that man into something where he can really sink his teeth into. But yeah, no, like it's understandable why he hasn't been, because like it's literally been that and the Devil storyline. Not a lot of people are getting a look in other than those two things. So it's understandable.
And it's worked for the company. I mean, it's the right call. What they have focused on for the last 6 weeks has been perfect. Don't get me wrong. I'm just saying now we got to go to that next step and keep that momentum. And for keeping that momentum, let's get Orange Cassidy into a hot feud.
Yeah. Moving on, the Don Callis family was in the ring for a Boxing Week celebration. Shout out to the UK. And Don Callis basically said, I have some important things to say, as he's joined with Kyle Fletcher, Konosuke Takeshita, and Powerhouse Hobbs. Basically, there's a lot of stuff going around outside the wrestling business these past couple of weeks, and it's family stuff. And it's been a difficult 2 weeks. You guys know what I'm talking about. At times like this, you need your family. I couldn't have gotten through it with my family without my family by me. And I got you guys some boxing gifts to show my appreciation. There was a painting of him and Powerhouse Hobbs, one of him with Takeshita, and one of him with Kyle Fletcher. And he's like, finally, the Don Callis family feels complete. And then Sammy Guevara, his music hits. He walks down to the ring. He's back. To which Don Callis is just like, what's up? And Sammy's like, long time no talk. And Don then proceeds to be like, oh, didn't you get the gift I sent for the kid? Like, I'm glad you're here. I got a gift for you, a painting specifically for you. And then Sammy then looked at it, and it was a picture of Sammy holding his newborn kid, and he had the Don Callis family surrounded. Like, that is the worst one. That is the worst one. There have been some awful ones. That is the worst one.
I
was like, no.
I got to tell you, because, like, the way Sammy reacted to this, I don't know if that's a normal reaction for a person.
No.
So, I don't know.
Yeah, he's like, who the hell told you to put my baby on that?
I was about to say, let me just say this. It literally was a blanket with a baby-like figure.
That's what I'm saying.
It wasn't even his baby. You know what I mean?
That was a baby. You can't tell me like anybody thought like they got Sammy's baby like even remotely close.
Yes, I was like, this dude seems irrationally upset about this.
Right. I would just be confused.
Yeah.
But he's like, no. You, like, your whole family's supporting you. Like, you're not, but like, Sammy, you're not mentally capable of being a parent. And Sammy then proceeds to call that out when it's like, you need to be worried about leading this group because everything's made about you. And I've heard people that I would have never expected ask me how I was going when I got concussed. I never got a message from you. And he's like, you're disappointing, hurt. And when you had the best opportunity you had ever in the AEW World Title Pillars match, he said, you were on leave having a baby, so you chose your other family. So if you answered wrong, you're going to remember it as just the biggest fan. That's when Sammy knocks Don Callis down. He gets collided by Powerhouse Hobbs. Everyone jumps on him. And then Jericho comes out and then takes out everyone with his baseball bat, Floyd. They retreat, and Jericho is then proceeding to beat all the paintings to a pulp. And then finally, for that last painting of Sammy and his family, he proceeds to give Sammy the belt. And he then shatters the portrait, and then they hug until they get jumped by the tag team champions, Absolute Ricky Starks and Big Bill. And that's when they start swarming them. The lights go black. And then when they come back on, Sting and Darby Allin come in, and they start going after Big Bill and Ricky Starks. And they just take turns hitting each other with baseball bats. So Sammy Guevara back in AEW. And instead of having the tag team match between like Chris Jericho and whatever his partner was going to be, which ended up being Sammy Guevara, who's now back, it has now been made that it is an 8-man tag match. Chris Jericho, Sammy Guevara, Sting, and Darby versus Ricky Starks and Big Bill and Powerhouse Hobbs and Konosuke Takeshita. So they're working in basically the Don Callis family storyline intertwined with the fact that Jericho did have a tag team title match. Which, if Jericho was like any normal person, would be genuinely pissed off because he had a tag team title match and now he just got thrown into an 8-man tag. Like, that's like any other normal person would be furious about that. You know what I mean?
Correct. And this is, let me say this. I'm going to first give the excuse. I understand they are adjusting to a situation that happened to them. Like, Kenny Omega hurt. Hopefully gets better. Thoughts always with them. So they had a match planned. It fell through. I, as a fan of tag team wrestling, I saw this happen, and it seems like the logical conclusion was to take these same 4 teams and put them in a fatal 4-way for the tag team titles. Right? Or a 4-way match, whatever you want to call it. If you want to use the WWE lexicon, it's fatal 4-way or just a 4-way match. And you wouldn't have the logic flaw of 2 people on the team, namely Will Hobbs and Ricky Starks, fucking supposed to hate each other. The last time they were in the ring together, they were in like a lights out blood feud. Now they're teaming up. Make it make sense.
Yeah.
So and then on the other side, I don't remember the last. I mean, Sammy and Darby aren't in the best place, but I guess they can put that aside. I guess I don't know. It just seems like it would have made way more sense. Same 8 people. Not asking you to change a person in match. A 4-way match for the tag belts. Boom.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, so having there no longer be a tag team title match, like, obviously it's understandable. We all get why. But, I mean, like,
yeah,
it's a blow. It's a blow.
It just seems like, first of all, I am not the biggest fans of the tag team champions as a fan of tag team wrestling because they're not a tag team. They're not they are wrestling as a tag team now, but literally as soon as they lose the belts, they will rarely tag up together. I mean, that's how this title win. They will go the way of Swerve and Our Glory and the other Hangman and Chris Jericho. I mean, Hangman and Omega. It will go the ways of those people, the thrown together tag teams. So I'm not a fan. I like real tag teams, but god dang it, can we at least have a tag team match on the pay-per-view?
That's the thing I gotta say too. Is like, we're near the end of 2023 right now. It's literally a couple days until the New Year's. And I remember the first 2 years of AEW. You couldn't find a company anywhere in this world that I felt like did tag team wrestling better than AEW. Teams galore, rivalries aplenty, some incredible tag team champions.
They actually cared about winning the belts, and the teams got time to work on TV. It's beautiful.
Yeah, and that kind of went away for a bit. That's not been the case recently. It just hasn't been the case for quite some time.
And if you know me, it's not about just FTR winning the titles. I mean, no, I like stories, right? I want stuff to make sense. I'm like, we never got Proud and Powerful as tag team champions. We haven't got the Best Friends as tag team champions.
Yes.
We haven't got a lot of teams. That
it doesn't make any sense to me, the fact that this is just me though, but we finally have Top Flight back together as a tag team, but they have Action and Andretti clinging to their coattails. You know what I mean? No disrespect, but this is a team that has not been able to stay healthy together at the same time for more than a couple months. They have been plagued with so much bad luck in terms of injuries or just not being able to be teaming together because one person's either gone or hurt. So now that they're back together, and Top Flight is reunited, why would they not be immediately trying to get the tag team titles? Because quite frankly, you don't know if they're going to be healthy enough to be able to win them if they don't do it now. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And that to me is an interesting story, because you could just bring up the fact it's you guys can barely stay together as a team, not because you're infighting, because you guys constantly get hurt. And quite frankly, whenever heel tag team champion faces them, they could be you're going to be hurt, but we're not just going to single one out. We're taking both of you out together, so you can still be together in the hospital.
Dude, yeah, that's a great way to get that look. I mean, to build that up. And
I think it gives them the ability to shine by just getting good promos and stuff like that. It's not just them specifically. I have no idea how like you said, Best Friends should have been champions, but I think it's insane to me that they have not been. And then, we only got one tag team title reign with YouTuber.
Yeah.
Tag team titles had the tag team titles once, and they held them for maybe 4 or 5 months.
Yeah, it's just like I said, it's just when you build your company around divisions. I mean, world title, international TNT, you have these titles for singles people. You know who should, because you have so many singles belts and only one tag belt. You know who should never be tag champions? 2 random singles guys. You have belts for them. Let the tag teams hold their belts and hold up their division. Like I said,
well, and then that's
care.
the thing too. Even though they are listed as they eventually got a name. If you go to the AEW's roster page and you go to the reign histories, Swerve still is Keith Lee and Swerve Strickland.
Yeah.
They mentioned it in the bio that it's Swerve in Our Glory, but you guys still remember that these two guys, when they eventually first became tag team champions, they were still just listed as Keith Lee and Swerve Strickland because they were just 2 people that were tagging together before they actually got a name.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So yeah, no, it's definitely a bummer. And again, like I said, it's not all on this match that got announced for World's End, which still should be a lot of fun.
No, this match just triggered me. I'm I think the match is going to be great. I think Sting's generally always delivers. His matches always deliver. They do a good job of working around him, giving him a good moment. No, don't get me wrong. It's not the match. It's just, goddamn, those belts. And like I said, the division means a lot to me. It is when AEW started, and that first night, it was the Young Bucks, Best Friends, Lucha Bros. That's the first night they had 3 tag teams, right? And I was like, oh fuck, let's go. And it's just at one point they had my 4 favorite tag teams in the world in the same company. So it's just like, dude, we should have some like killer rivalries, like Proud and Powerful Lucha Bros rivalry. Back when they were together. I know they're not together now. That ship has fucking sailed. I always wish both of them the best, but it's just, dude, like there's so much to be done as far as in this company, as far as tag team wrestling. And it's just like when you're having TV time and you got all this and you're trying to build your product, dude, you've proven. I mean, AEW match of the year to some, not to all, it's a TV match between FTR, Jay White, and Juice Robinson, And it's just like, dude, so tag team wrestling, when presented correctly, matters and draws and gets people in. So,
absolutely, yeah. No, both me and Floyd desperately want tag team wrestling to be near the near the level that it was when this company was first created. Like tag team wrestling in this company was second to none. It was so spectacular.
Like I don't know who. Like really, I'm starting to name the tag teams right now, and it's like in my head. We got FTR, Top Flight when they're together, the Kingdom. We still have the Best Friends when Chuck Taylor gets healthy.
You could technically reform do like your former tag team champions, Adam Page, Hangman Adam Page, and Kenny Omega. Like they were tag team champions. Like, it's still like segmented off of the Elite.
Yeah, Roppongi 3K, the Young Bucks. I forgot about the Young Bucks. How do I fucking forget about the Young Bucks? And it's like, I hope
Silver. Dark Order has not done anything.
I hope they do something with the Young Bucks. They come back, maybe beat Ricky Starks and Big Bill. Let's get these tag team belts. On the tag team.
Yes, for real. My suggestion, Aussie Open eventually. Get that shit happening.
Yeah, I want to see how that happens. I'm still hoping Mark's wrist is healing up. That match was a while ago, so I don't know how long. I think it's only like a 3 or 4 month injury. I'm not 100% sure.
Hopefully he's able to be back soon.
Yeah, because he said he broke it in 2 places, so it probably pins and shit to keep that get that thing back. So hopefully it's good and healed, and he comes back strong, and we get some Aussie Open doing Aussie Open things.
Yeah, absolutely. But moving off of that, though, we then had a backstage interview, or backstage promo, I should say, of Miro accepting a challenge, or making a challenge, basically, for him to face off against Andrade El Idolo for the for a match at World's End. He threw out a challenge for Andrade, and I think that's going to be spectacular. We've had the little drops of the fact that he's all around. CJ Perry. She was all around her. Which also, can I just say too? If you don't follow her on social media, she had a splinter that got infected in Mexico. Holy shit. Thank God she's okay, because she went through some shit.
I literally thought, let's just say, I thought she was going to lose the finger the way it looked at first.
No, I know.
The way it looked, I thought she was going to lose the finger, so I'm very happy that didn't happen. So
first of all, thank God she's okay, I got to say. But she's been tied in with this story, basically. So having her be around Andrade has not made Miro happy, and Miro wants to kill Andrade. So I think it's a very simple story. I think it's a story that sets up a really awesome match. I believe that CJ should be still good to go for this Saturday, despite the fact that I think she got out of the hospital late last week. So I think she should still be good to go. So hopefully that's the case, because she's crucial to this story, obviously.
Yeah, absolutely. Literally, she makes this story matter. They have no beef if it's not for her.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we then had, moving off of that, Roderick Strong basically being like him and his Kingdom fellows had been working on something for the past 5 days and had a bulletin board filled yarn drawings. They're trying to figure out who the devil was, and it's like it all leads to Max being the devil. And I'm going to prove that he's the devil, because eventually you're going to be exposed. And funny enough, that whole bulletin board that he had was made into a poster that you can get on shop.com. Honestly, spectacular. I think it's like really, really well done.
Yeah, it's like one of those things that would be really cool. But, I mean, at the press conference today, Tony basically said this thing is going to be wrapped up on Saturday. So long term, I wouldn't keep the poster. You know what I mean?
Exactly. You know what I mean? And by the time it gets shipped and all that kind of shit.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
But either way, it was a nice little moment, I felt like.
Yes.
But finally, moving down, we had the Blue League final between Eddie Kingston and Bryan Danielson. Just spectacular. These guys, like, I thought genuinely the trios match was going to steal the show. I was wrong. I was very wrong. Like, the work that they did in this match. And, of course, like, obviously, we all know Danielson and how spectacular his babyface fire comeback stuff is and how he does it so well. He's just such a naturally gifted underdog babyface. But even I can say that, like, you know, the stuff that they've been pulling for Eddie, like for this comeback and him and everything that had been labeled upon him, being called a bum and just, dude, fans were pulling for Eddie so fucking hard and you could feel it in the crowd, in the match. I mean, it was spectacular and could not have been done better. Just spinning back fist repeatedly thrown to Danielson, and was even able to get a powerbomb spot, a powerbomb that was inspired by a Kawada, which is really cool. And then Kingston on Bryan Danielson, probably one of the biggest wins of his AEW career, I gotta say. Besides his win at the Arthur Ashe. And it's get it. Oh, go ahead.
Eddie Kingston is the living embodiment of a video game character. He had to go through the levels of the BCC. Level 1 was Claudio. He beat him. Actually, level 1 was Bryan Danielson. He lost to him, right? Then he beat Claudio.
First match.
Then he beat Claudio. He had to go back a level. Then he had to come back and beat Danielson again, and now he gets the final boss, Mox. Thing is, he had never beat Claudio until he beat him for the ROH title. He never beat Bryan Danielson until he beat him this. And now it's lined up against Mox. About 4-3, whatever, like match 3, I figured, okay, it's going to be Eddie Kingston and Mox. And I don't know why, I just saw it perfectly clear that that's where we were going. Eddie Kingston and Mox. Eddie Kingston, to win this match, has to beat the guy he has never beat. The guy that he has lost to on multiple pay-per-views in AEW, has lost every time they go. He has to beat Mox. Now, I will tell you something. Eddie Kingston is, to me, better when he's the broken dude that can't win. So, I'm going to prepare you. Now, I'm going to give my prediction later, but I'm going to prepare you that this is the Triple Crown title, a title that they're trying to build.
Yes.
Who do you build this title with? The ace of your fucking company. So, if Mox wins, don't get too upset because
no, exactly,
he doesn't lose.
I think, like, here's the thing too, is like, and I don't like to be that guy. I think there could be a point where you start seeing people really turn on Moxley just because they're like, oh my God, okay, we get it.
But the great thing is, he's good with that character too. He can play the bully. He can play the heel. He has, if you like Mox, great. If you don't like Mox, great. He's that versatile.
No, he can blend into whatever you need him to be. Like I said, that's why he's always reliable. Because it's hard for me to take it away from the guy.
In the Orange Cassidy thing, he was clearly the heel. He was clearly Orange Cassidy's bully, right? So he doesn't have, if the fans turn on Mox, he's already set it up that the Blackpool Combat Club is the most neutral faction in wrestling history. They are a mirror, or they are the reverse of whoever they're going up against. And when they're going up against the Elite, they're the heels. When they're going up against this group, they're the faces. that they are one of the most perfect factions ever put together because they work no matter what, and they don't have to heel turn, right?
Yeah.
They don't have to face turn. They just beat up whoever's in the ring. Yeah, they just
John
beat
Moxley's
up whoever's in the ring
set
with
it up
them.
so you can't have another Shield breakup in his faction.
Yes. They fight each other all the time. They don't care.
Exactly. It doesn't matter.
Yeah. Someone hits Moxley in a chair. Cool. We'll fight on Saturday, and then we'll be friends again on Wednesday. That's how it works.
That's what it was been like for Eddie too. They killed each other at All Out, and then all of a sudden, like, you know, oh cool, we're cool with each other, and we're actually going to be tagging with each other as we try to go kill Chris Jericho.
They have the most functional, dysfunctional friendship ever. Like the promo he cuts after the match basically says, like during the I Quit and all those type of matches, and he called on the history. I could have embarrassed you, but I didn't. I did you a favor. I let you hang around in essence, right? You know, I let you, be near me, but on Saturday, I'm not doing you no favors. You're getting full Mox. I'm trying to take you out. I'm trying to become the Triple Crown champion because everybody talks about, Kingston loves the All Japan style, loves Japan, loves Kawada, all that stuff. Yeah, fucking Moxley does too.
Yeah, no, straight up. And again, Kingston's response too, basically being like, "Don't you try to young boy me. I broke in before you." Like saying that, he's like, "You're lucky I let you breathe, partner." Like, so well done. And then he just talked about, you know what? I am one of the most down people. I hate myself more than I hate anybody else. But the King of the Bums is going to push you because you told me once I wanted to quit AEW. You said you're not allowed to quit because we need people like you around to shape the younger guys. This what you want? I'll give you everything because you better show your fighting spirit. I will show mine and bust you up and enjoy it.
That made me
it makes all the sense in the world. And they sold it to the people that were like, may have been like, we've seen this before. Why are you making this huge tournament end with something we've seen before? Like, they sold it as to why they were ending it like this. Like, makes all the sense in the world, honestly. And it was incredibly well done. And, like, if you're not pulling for Kingston after that win over Danielson, the fact that this tournament started with Kingston's devastating loss to Danielson and now tied it all back with him winning, punching himself to the finals of the Continental Classic, beating Danielson, and fighting his way through all the other members of the BCC. Like, dude, I'm telling you, dude, this match is going to be insane. This was another one I thought could steal the show, honestly.
Yeah. So you've seen John Wick, right?
Yes.
Oh, yes. Eddie Kingston is Lawrence Fishburne's character in John Wick.
Yeah.
The King of the Bums.
King of the Bums. No, exactly.
I love it. No, I just love this story. I love Kingston's story. Like when he started off 0-2, I was like, oh, he's going to end up in the finals, but who's he going to get? I'm like, the best person to go against is Swerve because Swerve is like the heel right now. But the problem is you want Kingston to win. And as hot as Swerve is now, if it's Swerve versus Kingston, who's getting the loudest cheers? Who do people want to win? Exactly. So that's why that was a bad matchup, right? Jay White kind of just lost in the world title match. So is Eddie Kingston really doing something if he beats Switchblade? Not really. The story is Mox. It's always Mox. The final boss is Mox. He is the Brock Lesnar of AEW. He is the boss. He's what Undertaker used to be in WWE. He is the final boss. If you beat him, you are a made man. We'll find out.
Yeah, we will. We then had a showdown with a sit-down interview between TNT champion Christian Cage and Adam Copeland. And then Shayna Wayne and Nick Wayne were also there. And Christian Cage made sure to say it's Mother Wayne and the prodigy Nick Wayne. And he's like, I'm sitting here. I'm waiting all night for Copeland to show up, to which he then proceeds to jump in. Copeland runs in, throws Nick Wayne into a cargo box, and then they just start beating the hell out of each other. Security tries to break them up, and then Christian tries to run away, but then eventually he shoves Christian into a concrete wall, and then he's just screaming, "You're mine, you're mine." So we're gonna get even more heat with these guys in there, highly anticipated no disqualification TNT Championship match.
You know, and it's when I take some idea from someone else, I like to give them credit. So earlier tonight, rarely do I do this because I don't like to steal other people's ideas. I actually listened to the Voices of Wrestling flagship podcast, and they said, we're getting Beth Phoenix at the show, right? And I was like, fuck, we're getting Beth Phoenix at the show. And it was their idea, so I didn't take it. But once they said it, I was like, oh, we're fucking getting Beth Phoenix at the show. It's like, it just makes too much sense. Oh, yeah. It's like Shayna's going to be there, and, you know, he's going to need a woman to have his back. And, you know, the glamour's on. She's kind of, you know, does a thing. So, no, that's going to be pretty cool if that actually happens. No, I love this. And, you know, Edge, it's like when Edge is a WWE guy, that's what he is. It's like when people are like, oh, I wonder if he can work the AEW style. When you're someone that's Edge and you've been, or Adam Copeland, a rated R superstar, and you've been doing this character, this gimmick, this business for 30 years at this point, you are who you are, right?
Yeah.
So he's not going to transform into this AEW friendly indie wrestler. He's going to just keep doing him because that's what they bought, right? So this storyline is amazing because it's like the most WWE thing other than maybe Timeless Tony Storm in the company. And it's, and it works for him, and it works for Christian, and they're in their bubble right now. And yeah, I'm looking forward to the match on Saturday.
Yeah, no, it's gonna be so good to see this match like blow off. We then had Chris Statlander versus Sky Blue with Stokely during commentary for this match as well. And yeah, it's basically continuing off of Julia Hart, like really rubbing off on her. And this is a solid enough match, I felt like. Of course, this was a good place for these people to really work off each other. I also like the fact, too, that they mentioned that Statlander hadn't been pinned in like 19 months. They had mentioned for that, which honestly was a crazy stat for them to bring up. And yeah, no, it was really cool just to see how much Sky Blue is really fitting into this new darker character that she's got. So I thought this was really solid. The match was finished with Sky getting the code blue on an avalanche code blue, I should say. And it happened as the referee. She was being checked on, but then Julia knocked out Chris Statlander with the TBS championship. And then that's when she hits the code blue off of the top rope. And then Sky Blue wins the match, beats up Chris afterwards. Julia Hart jumps in to continue beating up on her. And that's when Willow Nightingale comes out. She dishes out clotheslines. She starts shaving she starts saving Chris Statlander. And then as that was happening, Abaddon then proceeds to appear, and she just stares into Julia Hart's eyes. And then they just jump off, and they kind of run off to the side away from Abaddon. So, yeah, I thought this was really solid. I still don't fully know what to expect from the TBS Championship match at World's End, just because this is the biggest match of Abaddon's time in AEW, and it's kind of come out of nowhere. You know what I mean? Like, she's had some steady build for the last month, but up until that, like, she had not been on TV. You know what I mean? And now she's in a TBS Championship match. So, I mean, it's a big deal. I want to see her do well. I want to see what she can do against Julia Hart, who has also been, like, very, very good these last few months. So this is one of the more intriguing things. I don't know how this is going to go. I don't know how people are going to take to this. I just hope they pull it off, though, because I think it could be very good.
Absolutely, I completely agree with that. It could be very good. Sky Blue, I do like how much she's being used. I you know, she deserves it. You know, like as far as what they're trying to do, you see what they're trying to do. I mean, as far as her building someone new, you know what I mean? Like really focusing on giving her a lot of matches. She wrestles more than everybody else. Is she great yet? No, but you're starting to see marked improvement. So I'm really looking forward to her in the future. The Abaddon thing, I've been saying I am all about people. Like, wrestling. Get better in the ring, change, adapt your look, all that stuff. All that it applies to Abaddon. Doing the work applies to Abaddon. So she get all the opportunities she's getting, she's earned. And the thing about it is, when you have this women's division, you're really trying to build it, and you're trying to build contenders. You gotta stay consistent. Abaddon can't go away for 6 months after Saturday. She can't just disappear until the next Halloween. You gotta keep booking her. You gotta keep her relevant, because that's what happens with Abaddon. They generally build her up to a match. She has that match and then goes away. Now, they did a good job. She lost the last big match she was in, and now she's in this match. And I'm just like, just keep booking her. I mean, it's a character that I think a lot of people can get behind if you put them out there, put her out the right way, or them out the right way. I'm not trying to misgender Abaddon. It's just
right, sure.
Yeah, I forgot. Sorry, but put them out there and let them do their thing. So that's what it comes down to. So I just more consistency with Abaddon is what I'm looking for. Right.
So we'll see how it steps out. Right before the main event, we then had a backstage interview with Ruby Soho and Saraya. She talked about basically how Renee was like, Ruby, how do you feel you're taking on Marina Shafir on Rampage? And Saraya was like, I'm excited, but I can't keep this in. It's your birthday next month. I've been giving you so many gifts, but I have something special for you on Rampage. I got you some help. And she brings in Harley Cameron. And then she's like, look at her. She'll do anything you need her to do. And that's when she's like, oh, sorry. Ruby's like, my phone's ringing. I got to take this call. And Saraya goes, is that Angelo? Tell him I said hi. Like, I love that guy. She leaves to answer. And then that's when Renee was like, how did that partnership come together? And then Saraya was like, I'll show you. And then that's when Harley pulls a knife and like, no. Let's the other thing. Put the knife away. Put it away. So,
yeah. So I saw some people and heard some people, read some people saying they came out of nowhere. No, she was the crazy chick in QTV.
Yeah, no, exactly. She was specifically psychotic in QTV.
So yeah, she was psychotic. Yeah,
people just didn't know who she was.
She's literally playing the same character she did on QTV. She's just crazy. They're more leaning towards the crazy part of it. But yeah, this is her thing. Harley Cameron's a little off kilter, and I love it. And I like that someone from QTV that I liked has found another spot. I was worried about what could end up happening to them, going forward. So I like that.
Yeah, no. Yeah, and trust me, as somebody who follows Harley Cameron on social media, the more I see her, the better, if that's anything I can say. That's all I gotta say.
You should have a combo with Ryan Quinn. See what he thinks. No. Just like, hey, what's up? No, but no. I mean, yeah. You know what?
Yeah, no. We'll move quickly off of that.
Yes. Just saying.
We had the main event though of MJF and Samoa Joe teaming up to defend the Ring of Honor World Tag Team Champions against the Masked Men of the Devil. So the Devil's Masked Men. They're in the ring, and then that's when Samoa Joe gets introduced. He doesn't walk out, and is showing he's on the ground and he's hurt, but he's holding his right leg, basically screaming. But MJF is like, "No, I'm doing this match. I'm still going to do this match." Joe at one point though still comes out and fights. He tried to pull one of the masks off, but the other one grabbed MJF's throat basically and pulled him over the top rope and rammed him into the thing. Got rammed off of the steel post. Then another one comes out from under the ring, hits him with a steel pipe on his shoulder, which is also injured. And then that's when they proceed to have another masked man. There's like multiple ones in there too. Then one of them hits MJF with the heat seeker, and they get the pin while the other one was holding his legs. So the Devil's Masked Men have won the Ring of Honor World Tag Team Championships. And MJF was not able to defend those titles. So those are no longer being held by Adam Cole and MJF. more men became to come out of the ring, and they started beating the shit out of MJF. Joe then proceeded to come out. He was limping with a steel chair. They run away, and then they helps him to his feet. But then the devil shows up on screen, and then the words just said on screen, "Pleasure doing business with you." MJF is just staring at it, and he gets cracked in the back of the chair, in the back with a chair by Samoa. And Joe basically has been revealed that he has been working with the devil. He then just walks. He's got no limp. He's got no problem. The jump beforehand was totally not real. He hits the muscle buster on MJF, and then he picks up the world championship because, you remember what this man is going for anyway. Big heat as he gets ready for his match at World's End. So yeah, MJF is in a world of hurt right now. He just lost the Ring of Honor World Tag Team titles to a bunch of men who literally don't have faces. So for Floyd, who loves tag teams, I don't even know what the fuck he thinks about Ring of Honor with those tag team title belts by basically two vacant men's.
I will not know. This is a wait and see. They take the mask off, and everyone thinks they're the Kingdom. That's what I keep hearing. Everyone. I
think Bobby Fish and Kyle O'Reilly. That's just me.
Okay, if he's Bobby Fish, I feel like he's on stilts because those guys were taller than MJF, and I remember. And Bobby Fish is not taller than MJF.
Oh yeah, no, I know.
No, maybe I'm wrong. That, like I said, it was just it was my first watch through. I didn't go back and watch it. Maybe I'm wrong. You know what? I'm open to whoever it is. It's I posted. I put a post, and you might have saw it. That I've heard this some people that I respect in the wrestling business saying they're tired of it. They're just wanting to end this whole devil thing. And it's just dude, I want it to go on another 6 months. And I know I'm out late. I always say this, as much as I grew up on wrestling, I also grew up on one other thing, and that was soap operas. And when you grow up on soap operas, the reveals, the whodunits are literally a part of your weekly show. Pretty much every show is bigging up to some kind of whodunit, some reveal of someone that's come back from the dead or somebody that's been secretly sabotaging a person. And the thing about wrestling, and this is a professional wrestling problem, when you do a whodunit like this, right? They do like I did. Oh, it's CM Punk. Oh, it's this person. Oh, it's this person. And you have guessed so much, right? No matter who comes out, you will either have guessed it or it's going to be stupid, right? It's in your brain. And it's just it's wrestling fans, in essence, ruin these type of stories, right? Mm-hmm. Because let's just say it's Adam Cole and it's obvious, right? Cool. Mm-hmm. That's fine. The story led to it. It was him. That's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. Let's just say it's Jungle Boy, who I don't want it to be. But again, it's fine, right? Because it's not about the reveal and who it is. It's about the promo after the reveal and how they explain why they did what they did. And an excellent orator will dominate this. If I put this in Eddie Kingston's hands, oh my God, he's going to put the promo of the year out. Or John Moxley's hands, promo of the year out. So what we're seeing is it's going to matter what their justification is, what their promo is, the execution afterwards. The reveal is not the end of the story. It's the middle of the story. It's what's done with the reveal is the end of the story. And it's just that's what, when you see people bitching, they I can't wait for this to be over. Once they reveal the person, that's not when it's over. It starts again there because now you got the revenge plot, blah, 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 all that stuff that becomes a part of it.
It's not even close to being done.
Yes. And that's what I'm it's just if you're short-sighted, you're looking at the reveal as the end and it's not the end. You're going to get more. And these stories, I love whodunits. I like whodunit movies. I love whodunit TV shows. I'm all about it. So I love this. Like I said, it would extend for 6 more months if it could, but it's not. And I'm of the opinion that whoever does it, whoever it is, or whatever, in my opinion, needs to be the next AEW World Champion. Whoever it is.
Yeah. No, because they have to take everything from Max. They have to take everything.
Correct.
So, but that was how AEW Dynamite New Year's Smash closed out. So, real quick, I will just do a very quick mention of what will be on Rampage. Just real quick. So, you're going to have, of course, the four-way tag match: Orange Cassidy, Trent Beretta, Rocky Romero, and facing Top Flight and Action Andretti in the trios match. You then have Ring of Honor Pure Championship match between Wheeler Yuta and Matt Sydal. You're going to get a match between Ruby Soho and Marina Shafir, like we mentioned earlier. And then you have Chris Jericho, who will be talking. And that is what you have on Rampage. So just real quick, just wanted to mention that since that is happening right before World's End.
Let me say, don't be surprised if there's a match or two added. Because this is TK we're talking about. And the booking continues until literally the first bell rings. So there might be a match added in Rampage, but we are going to preview this as what we know right now. But don't be shocked if something pops up.
Yeah, no, it's not even a foregone conclusion that could be the case.
Yeah.
But yeah, so let's give our little preview and predictions for World's End. First up, the 0 hour matches. We have an FTW rules match between Wheeler Yuta and Hook. I have Hook taking this because I don't think Hook should lose in an FTW rules match.
I got Hook taking it. I was leaning towards Yuta because he's been cheating in Pure Rules matches. So I was leaning towards him cheating or doing something kind of dastardly, maybe get some extra help to beat Hook. But I think Hook goes ahead and wins this match, and maybe they build to a Hook versus Yuta match for the Pure title too.
Yeah, I think that works. We then are actually going to get a 0 hour battle royale. It's going to be a 20-man battle royale. Which will be for a TNT title shot anytime, anywhere.
This is basically Money in the Bank for the TNT title.
Yeah, pretty much. We do not know who will be in this match at all. Like, they have not announced anybody who will be in it. But do you have any predictions?
I'm calling Jungle Boy as the winner, returning Jungle Boy to come back and win.
Sorry. That was literally not even... That was involuntary, but it just happened. No, I will... Let me go to the roster. Let me think of somebody else. I want to think of somebody else. Sean Spears comes back out of retirement. Quick return. I will go ahead and I will pick Danhausen because fuck it. Give Danhausen some love. Give Danhausen
I like how we have these guesses and like literally nothing. No, not one person has been announced for the Battle Royal. So
not one person has been announced, but I just thought like literally I'm just going to say Danhausen because if I'm right, I will not shut up about it.
Yeah, because I want to pick somebody from, the Callis family, but they're kind of in a match. So
yeah, you can't have that happen.
No. You know who would be cool? Who I would freak out? Kota Ibushi.
Oh, yeah, no question. Like, you get confirmation that, oh, yeah, Kota Ibushi's going to get a TNT title match.
Yeah.
It'd be fucking huge.
Yes, but I think...
first of all, they should, at the very least, I'd have him in the match. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And the thing is, when you do Anytime, Anywhere, though, it almost feels like it has to be a heel win it.
Yeah, no, I get that.
I guess it could be a face if they end up cashing in on Christian because no one will care that Christian got screwed over.
Yes.
No one will care about that at all. So I do think whoever wins is going to cash in at the end of the night.
Oh, yeah? You think they're going to be like right then and there? They're going to be like, no, I want my title match right now.
They're literally like, it would be so idiotic if they didn't. Adam Copeland and Christian are about to kill each other in a no DQ match. I'm fighting the guy right after that match.
Oh no, legit.
There's no way I'm not cashing it in right after that match. It just makes too much sense.
Right, for real. We then have Andrade El Idolo versus Miro. This is a tough one, honestly, for me because
I am going 20-minute draw.
Yo, really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
I'm going draw, and I think they're going to beat the crap out of each other, and then they're going to form a tag team.
Oh, I see. Okay. I will go ahead and I will just say Andrade because of CJ Perry screwing over Miro.
Yes.
That will be my safe guess, I guess.
Yes.
So I will go with that. Swerve Strickland versus Keith Lee. Swerve.
Swerve when I drive. I mean, it's got to be Swerve.
Listen, you got a guy who has not wrestled on a pay-per-view in months versus a guy who is the hottest wrestler in AEW at this point in time.
Yeah.
No disrespect to Keith Lee. You can't stop Swerve right now. He is way too hot.
I want Keith Lee to get the visual pin, and then, of course, he gets screwed over.
Yeah,
because,
absolutely.
Swerve, but Swerve all the way.
No question. We then have the 8-man tag match, Jericho, Sammy, Sting, and Darby versus Starks, Big Bill, Powerhouse Hobbs, and Konosuke Takeshita. I'll go with the baby faces.
Yeah, Sting doesn't lose in these matches.
Yeah, you put Sting in the match, it's basically almost a foregone conclusion. You're not going to have him lose as you're building towards his retirement in literally a month.
And they did it well where, since it's not the whole Don Callis family, it's going to probably be Ricky or Big Bill taking the pin.
Yes.
And so Don Callis is just going to say they failed him too. So there you go.
Exactly. And it's a non-title match for them, so it doesn't hurt. So
yeah.
That's fine. Julia Hart versus Abaddon for the TBS Championship. Like I said, this match is one of my most intriguing ones just because I want to see how both women perform, especially Abaddon, considering this is her biggest match in AEW for her time here. But I do think it's a pretty relatively good retain for Julia. I do want to see points where Abaddon, how does she really get Julia to sweat? How does she use what she brings to the table to set herself apart and just put Julia Hart against the ropes so that way you can't she's got reasonable doubt holy shit she doesn't know what to do against her.
Yeah, I want to see a appearance from Thunder Rosa in this match having her back, and I want it to look like Abaddon's going to win.
Right. The TNT Championship no disqualification match between Christian Cage and Adam Copeland. I think this is where Adam gets his win back, so I will go ahead and go with Copeland.
See, the reason I went with this is perfect. I don't think Adam Copeland really wants to be a champion in AEW. So
it's possible.
So if you win it and then immediately lose it to a young guy, or a young heel, there you go.
And especially for him, because this was a guy that did so many Money in the Bank cash-ins, and everything like that. I mean, one of his cash-in against Cena was one of the most talked about. So it makes sense why he would be the one that would let that happen.
Yeah, someone cash in on Adam, and there you go.
There you go. We then have the Continental Classic final between Jon Moxley and Eddie Kingston.
Hold on just a second before we get to that one. There was an 8-man tag thrown in.
I told you that. Oh, was there another 8-man tag?
No, yeah.
That's right.
Scroll down a little bit.
Danielson, Claudio, Mark Briscoe, and Daniel Garcia facing Brody King, Jay Lethal, Jay White, and Roosh.
Yes, and I honestly think this is great just because these dudes have been working their ass off for the last 6 weeks or however long it's been.
Absolutely. It's a nice match to just really tie in the Continental Classic and just kind of these guys who have been putting banger matches out on TV trying to win this tournament, they still deserve to compete at the pay-per-view, get payday and everything like that. I think it's a really well done thing.
And I have no idea who's going to win. I have no feel on it. I'm just going to go with Jay White. His team. Jay White gets the pin, but literally I have no feel on who's going to win this match.
Yeah, I think maybe, there's problems between Garcia and Briscoe and the BCC members, and that helps the heels team get the win.
Yes. And Bryan Danielson, after this, will be on a flight to Japan to compete at Wrestle Kingdom.
He will. It's going to be crazy, dude.
Yeah.
That's going to be nuts. Then, we have the Continental Classic final, Eddie Kingston versus Jon Moxley. We talked all over about how Jon Moxley is your ace. For the AEW's CC, first ever, you're having the ace win the whole thing. So it's going to be Jon Moxley.
Yeah, the podcast that I listened to brought up the point that Eddie Kingston's that guy that's just better in the chase. He's better when he's failed and he has to try to come back. It would be great, but him get this close and then comes up short, that's the story I want to know. That's the story I want going into 2024, is Eddie Kingston trying to get the his belts back. So, yeah, I'm going Jon Moxley. Just beats Eddie Kingston.
All right. And then Toni Storm versus Riho for the AEW Women's World Championship. I will never go against Timeless Storm. You can't make me. You cannot make me. I'm going with Timeless Toni Storm.
Our character's too hot. You can't go. You know what? I would be perfectly fine with Riho winning, but it just doesn't make any sense. It just doesn't.
Yeah, with the amount of merch that they've put out of her and how big they are on her right now.
It's just how hot she is with the crowd and what she like. I mean, you can give her 5 minutes and you're going to remember that 5 minutes from the night. You could put her on commentary. She's going to be great. I've enjoyed the Timeless Toni stuff. Like I said, I mean, you ask me 9 times out of 10, I'm picking Riho because I really do love Riho. But Toni Storm's just on another level as a performer right now, so I would not take the belt off her.
All right, and then finally, the AEW World Championship, MJF versus Samoa Joe.
And we were told the devil's going to be revealed, so we should probably take our guess on that too.
Yeah, so quite frankly, as much as because we obviously said the pleasure doing business with us, that implies that the devil is not Samoa Joe, but he's been working for him. Now that being said, whoever the devil is going to end up being AEW World Champion. I think we've made that also very clear. Crazy for a Samoa Joe AEW World Championship run. I would go crazy for it. I don't think that will happen. I think MJF will win. But at that point, though, right as he's thinking, oh my God, I at least got this. I held it down. I'm still the top guy in AEW. That's when the devil comes out. And I'm going to stick to my guns and say it's Adam Cole.
All right. I think the devil and his goons actually help MJF retain. And Samoa Joe loses. You know why? Because he fucking made a deal with the devil. Of course you're going to get screwed. So,
very true.
And the devil's like, basically you thought I was going to give you my belt? That's my belt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are you thinking?
Yeah, what are you thinking? That's just stupid. So, yeah, I'm going with Adam Cole. I literally okay, so the 4 names that I've heard: Adam Cole, Jungle Boy, Tony Khan, and Britt Baker. Worst to best. Worst is Tony Khan. 3 would be Jungle Boy. 2, Adam Cole. 1, I really want it to be Britt Baker. It's just because I love the women's division. I think the women's division is okay, but to get it to good or great, you have to put some capital in it. You have to put some time in it. They have literally, Britt Baker is healthy, and they have kept her off TV. It literally just makes sense. She hated MJF from the beginning. She didn't want MJF and Adam Cole to be friends. Britt Baker.
Okay. Fair enough. I mean, that would be wild. That would absolutely be wild if that was the case.
I always said it. That's why I said in my tweet, I know who I want it to be, Britt Baker. I know who it's probably going to be, Adam Cole. I can live with both. If it's Tony Khan, it will be
panned. I will say right now, it will be absolutely panned.
It would be, to me, it would be a triumph in my life to find the positive spin on that.
Yeah, no, honestly, same for me.
Yes,
same for me.
Because I am a Tony Khan supporter. I would not go as far to say I worship the man, but I think very highly of him as a human. Him staying off TV is best for AEW. Even when they do an announcement, he never really makes the announcement. He has Tony Schiavone or somebody. Stay off my TV, Tony. Stay off my TV.
No, I do not in any circumstances need that to be the case.
Yeah, correct.
Like, I do not need that at all.
Like, to me, I wouldn't like Jungle Boy, but they wrote him off TV because of the whole Punk situation. He kind of takes Punk's spot as the devil. I get it. You can make Jungle Boy work. Make it work, right? I'm not a fan of it because, I'm not really a big fan of him, but I can make that work. I can make Britt work. I can make MJF work logically. Tony just comes off as a bitter rich man. He just comes off as Mr. McMahon. And shit, I know Mr. McMahon was like 20-something years ago, still too soon to run it back.
Yeah, it's too soon. I just can't. I can't deal with it, dude. I just can't. Like, don't go down that road because you can't come back once you go down that road. Yeah,
it's like there's so many other people like it makes sense to be. I mean, and if you wanted to be a manager, you wanted to be whatever. There's a lot of places it makes sense. But yeah, the thing is, it has happened a long time ago. And what AEW needs to do is ignore the reaction to the reveal. You really need to ignore the reaction.
You got to just go through what the story is because you got to get it. You got to get it to the point where everything pays off.
Yes, because no matter who you announce, you could make it fucking Jim Cornette. 50% are going to think it's brilliant and 50% are going to hate it. It's not who the reveal is. The story begins once the reveal. The story starts in the second act of this story starts after a reveal. We're just in the first act of this play. It ends with the reveal, and then that starts the second act.
Right. No, for sure. But that is our preview of AEW World's End. Hopefully y'all enjoy the show, and hopefully y'all enjoy the new year. Thank you guys so much. I think that'll close things out for this episode of All Things Elite. We want to thank you guys so much for tuning in to this episode and appreciate you guys sticking with us for the entirety of 2023. We hope you continue to stick with us for 2024 and beyond as we continue going through AEW throughout this time frame. It's been so much fun going through everything. If you guys enjoy the show, please continue to download the show on Google or Apple Podcasts. If you listen to us on Spotify or wherever you choose to listen to us, please give us a share with your friends, family, coworkers, whoever you wish, and subscribe so you never miss an episode. And be sure to leave a rating and a review. And if you're so inclined, you can follow us on social media at ATElitePod on Twitter, and also follow at Social Suplex, who make this show possible and have a bunch of other great shows on their network. I myself am at Austin Szumowicz, SZUMOWICZ, and Floyd is at Floyd Johnson Jr. on Twitter. Hopefully y'all had an amazing holiday. Hope you guys have an amazing New Year's, and best of luck to you guys in 2024. And same goes to my good partner, Floyd. I hope he has an amazing New Year. And I will pass it off to him now to close us out on this episode of All Things Elite, and hope you all enjoy World's End.
Well, thank you, the brilliant Austin Szumowicz, as we weaved all the additional news through our natural show. There was one piece that I did, and this is just the advertisement, basically. Shop AEW has a sale starting tomorrow, their New Year's sale. It starts at noon. It's 20% off basically everything, including the new Eddie Kingston Shop AEW figures. So that's tomorrow at noon Central. I just threw that out there because that is a new item that is going to be available. And I'm probably going to do a pretty big order on that one. So look forward. I wish you all the best, that anyone that's trying to look at the merch. But honestly, by the time you listen to the show, it'll probably be on sale. But yes, thank you. This year has been great. As always, Austin is one of the people that I am very thankful for. I've had a great year. I just did my count. I went to, I think, 16 shows this year, which is down. I said it. I was going to cut it down. I said at most 14. I made it to 16. I'm a dirty, filthy liar. But I did lower the number of shows that I went to this year. I'm not going to say I'm going to go less than 16 next year. That would just be stupid. But no, especially they've added Oklahoma to their rotation. So, I'm going to go to all those shows. But yeah, I look forward to the new year. I look forward to everybody growing, getting closer to everyone. We're hopefully do some little things to maybe spruce up the show, maybe have an interview, maybe have a guest host, whatever. I'm always talk to Austin and figure that out, but I thank you all for listening every second, every moment, every download. Even if you just download the show and don't listen, which you can't hear this anyway, we still appreciate you, and we want to say Happy New Year, because everybody celebrates the new year, whether you actually celebrate it or not. The new year is the new year. So Happy New Year. Shout out to my boy JR over in Tokyo. Have fun at the Wrestle Kingdom. And I will say this as I leave you how I always leave you. Whether it is home, work, or school, always do your best to be elite.